Yo.
Yo.
You're back.
Here. Sounds aggressive.
Have those PJs come off today? Mine.
I very productive day though. I did a bunch of cleaning.
Mine wouldn't have come off except that I've been working on patching the hole in our ceiling from adding the can lights, so sanding and doing fun things. I think I can take everything off the board except for the research stations, right?
Take everything off the board. Oh my god. Except for the research station.
And the military base.
Yeah, as long as everything's faded that needs to be faded.
Yeah, everything's faded.
Okay.
I think that new assignment thing was super useful. I mean, obviously it was in that game.
It was pretty clutch.
I feel like that.
They're calling in the researcher to give a clutch handover of cards is pretty useful.
Yeah, because you get to choose who hands it over. Because sometimes you're the researcher and you're like, well, I've never had the cards I need to give.
Yeah.
And being able to just be like, yep, they have it and they're gone.
No, I don't need to look at myself bigger than you.
There's Marcus.
Nope, we got no audio
He's coming.
on Mark.
He's almost there. Now he's connected. Hi, Mark. I think we can hear you.
Okay, speak.
Yep.
Just put up something in the kitchen, but I can hear you.
I didn't realize you guys had a fan in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's nice for when you're toasting dried chili peppers.
Is the fan pulling up?
Things you learn.
It's nice to get that burning, acrid smoke out of the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like having my evaporative cooler for that reason in the summer.
Just blast it.
Yeah, well, it's usually going.
Right.
So. But, a real vent hood would be really nice.
Yep.
I gotta work on that refinancing shit. Should do that tomorrow.
We crushed it last game.
Yeah, we also got lucky in some ways that we were just incredibly unlucky last time. So
Yeah.
There don't seem to be any medium games for this.
it
Well,
wasn't necessarily easy. We had to do a lot of work.
yeah, we did some sneaky stuff. There were some inobvious things we did to win. I'm going to tear up this win bonus because we don't get it anymore.
All right.
Destroy this card at the end of April.
Oh, the military base thing.
Yeah. So we don't know what our May win bonus is yet, but we'll find out.
I feel like something's gonna happen.
We have a draw. Oh, good thing I checked. Wow, I didn't. Draw at the end of your first game in April before selecting your game end upgrades. So.
Calendar.
Hi. Come on. Leave me alone. Oh, I guess I can turn the lights on for you guys a little better.
Oh, I get this monthly newsletter of the fraternity of the Order of Police because the guy who owned the house before me was a police officer, and it's like super weird to read.
I bet.
Is it like weird, like nobody here's a Nazi, but like those iron crosses are pretty fucking good? Or
I mean, not like that weird, but it's just like there's like all these essays written by people, and it's like there's one that I was just reading that's talking about the election, which seems super grim now after everything that's happened.
Yeah.
like Biden ones, we have to call ourselves the police instead of the
Oh no, not that Biden one. That the election's not over yet. And it's yeah, like the legal challenges are ongoing.
And you're like, are they though? Unfortunately, okay, so are we ready for me to do
Yeah,
this?
ready.
Turn this card and see what it says.
I'm 90 seconds away back in here.
Oh, we can wait. We can just wait.
And we gave me this like Mexican cookbook for Christmas, and using it, it's like super fussy and like it's like you gotta use a blender, not loose press across it to make like mole. Like this is too granular detail.
What cookbook is it?
I finally made like an adobo, and I was like, this is probably a pain in the ass. I shouldn't bother, but I just like scooped it out and fucking smells delicious. So.
Nice.
Was
What-
it just like add a bunch of shit to a food processor and blend?
Probably have to.
It was fussy. It was like toasting 3 different types of dried peppers and still
Oh yeah.
chopping those and I'm gonna blend here.
Is this what cookbook is it?
Oh, true Mexican.
By who?
The question.
It's not Rick Bayless.
No, it's Roberto Santibáñez.
Santibáñez.
Take that.
They have a section on vehicle enhancements, and the first page is a review of like stand-up Segway trikes. Like mall cop mobiles. With the Motorola Solutions Vigilant Mobile LPR.
Huh.
Oh, it reads license plates.
I never actually read the Civilian, which is your like throwaway character if your other ones get toasted. But it has an interesting ability. It says you don't get any special abilities. If you get a scar, instead of adding one, you discard your hand, put your pawn in a research station, and retain any remaining actions you had. Which is kind of weird.
And to be clear, it's like every playing like run out of good characters.
Right.
No, it's actually, but no, it's not even that. If you lose a character during the game, I think you have to be a civilian.
Okay.
Oh, probably unless you had that new assignment thing, I bet.
Right. Yeah, I think if you kill a character in the middle of a game, you have to become a civilian.
I was actually thinking it wouldn't be that bad of an ability to have. Like, especially with our research station in Delhi, you could just walk around and quarantine stuff and then die every turn. I mean,
Sure, although
you'd lose all your
you
cards.
You have to start again in a research station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long as we have.
As long as we can keep Delhi.
So if we lose Delhi in Atlanta, what happens?
I think we have to build a research station in order to cure diseases.
Well, so I mean, we have to draw this card once Mark's ready.
I am ready. Got my attention.
Oh, it's just a win bonus.
Was that more funding or whatever?
No, it's like whatever. We won a game in April, so we get to decide what we get for May, or we get a.
So it's an alternative to the standard ones. It's not like
No, it's
the
not,
other thing where we got a free.
yeah, it's the other thing. You get a free thing at the beginning of every game.
What could it be?
Oh, nice. You get to remove one faded figure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
We should do that right now. Then give off the periphery.
Well, but that would be like if the
Oh no,
Tehran.
not a faded city, a faded figure, Mark.
Oh, all right, I started.
Still pretty nice though. It means that
Yeah.
if we start off with like Tehran has 3, we can make it 2.
Definitely.
And is this like that we can do every game? Is it like a unfunded event kind of card, or what's the deal?
Well, it was like how we used to be able to build a military base. It's just like the beginning of each game we get to do this.
Yeah, it's this one. It's the win bonus.
Until I'm assuming there's like a
Max cities. I was just trying to think when you have faded figures in the game. That's this.
Yeah, it's after you set up, so they're already infected.
Yeah.
So I mean,
how long do we get that for?
Are the 2 games in May?
Okay.
So we're gonna get no unfunded events because we won. So our funding level went back down to 0. As far as choosing game upgrades, I think that's what we should do next.
Wait, so we can't do our same strategy next game.
No, we can't. which is a bummer.
So I think we should definitely make a permanent military base in Taipei. Is there already one there?
There isn't already one, so that's one of them, I think. I'm still like the military bases have not been useful so far.
Yeah, but I think because we no longer get a free one, I think it would be useful to have two. I just feel like they have to become useful at some point with the fated people.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just thinking too far ahead.
You know what we should probably do one of these times is try and build one in Atlanta. And then we could start from Atlanta and go anywhere. Or go to any of the military people can go to the other ones. Anyway.
Military base in Atlanta?
Maybe at some point in the future.
Yeah.
And then we can make it permanent.
Idea of putting one in Taipei, though, because I also think they're going to become more important.
I agree. I'm going to do it.
With veteran things on people as we go, and like we already start with 2 characters that are veterans, so
yeah, I agree. Let's do it. Yeah, the thing, like right now we can get the quarantine specialist to Delhi, which is really nice. But if Delhi goes down, then it would be really nice to have a military base in Atlanta. That's what I was thinking, like long term.
I mean, I think I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
But
basically, if Atlanta is in our hand at the beginning of next game, we should do that on like our first turn. Someone should just do that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, we could make that permanent at the end of the game if we win or lose.
Yeah.
So we can't do the positive mutations. We basically have the pilot or flexible or options, or the other character upgrades, which are local pressure. If you're in a military base, you can quarantine an adjacent city with the quarantine action.
Where do you see that? Oh, the game. Okay.
The upgrades there, yeah.
Yep.
So like that would be an interesting one for the quarantine specialist, because she could sit in Baghdad and quarantine. Like it doesn't say once per turn. It says if she's in Baghdad, she could quarantine all of those 4 cities in the one turn.
Huh. Yeah.
I'm just like,
or like Delhi. If we had one in Delhi also, then she'd be able to quarantine all the connected cities from there, which is pretty dope.
that makes it sound like one would be protected in a military base from being scarred, but that's not a rule yet, right?
I don't think that's a rule. Yeah, I think even if you're in a military base station and there's a faded, you get a scar.
Like, doesn't that also kind of sound like that to you, everyone else?
What? If you're in a military base, you can quarantine an adjacent city with a quarantine action?
Just the fact that you can be in a military base, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Sounds like one would be protected in a military base. But anyways, that's not a thing now, so.
I'm trying to look for the scar definition. Can't find it. I'll have trouble with this.
Oh, it's not the printed rules, are not. Or is it?
Well, it would have been on a sticker we added.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not in the original game rules. So.
Yeah, and it's not the starting turns with faded figures rule says when you begin your turn, if your pawn is in a city with one or more faded figures, you take 1 scar and add it to your character. So
yeah, it could be a thing. It's just like I feel like I'm trying to read hints, and it seems like later on we might get like an upgrade where it's like every city with the military base is now protected or something.
right.
Cool. Well, that sounds pretty useful, especially. But would we really want to put it on the quarantine specialist or someone else?
That's a good question because she can already use one of her actions to do one of those adjacent cities.
It just seems like it would give more flexibility to have
Yeah, it's sort of,
another.
if it's somebody else, then it's more likely that we have kind of two people on a round doing quarantine duty, which is not implausible, like two people in two different places.
That would have been helpful last time for sure.
We definitely should put it on someone who is an army person, though, because you could then fly into the military base and then fly out of it again.
So the operating experts, basically, or they must put a sticker on, like the medic maybe or the dispatcher.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Like, if Baghdad is fallen, then you could fly into Baghdad from Tehran, quarantine a bunch of like 2 things, and then fly out, which could be, useful.
Right. It does seem like we should make whoever has that local pressure thing should be a military person. Is that what you're just saying, Parker?
Yeah, and I don't know if we have a military person that it makes sense to do with yet, except for maybe the operations specialist.
Yeah. The other one is you may use a city card from an adjacent city when building any structure. So that's helpful for building structures. You don't have to be in the same city. You can be next to it. And the veteran one.
So, I mean, could we do local pressure and make somebody a veteran?
No, because we use the
Oh, right.
the military base thing.
Well, I mean, we could eventually, so we can think about that.
Mm-hmm. So the medic already has 1 upgrade, so they can't get both. I mean, it probably would make sense to, like, maybe that would make sense to do for the operations expert.
Because he's already military.
Yeah, and he can build military bases anyway.
He can build military bases really easily.
Yeah, that seems wise.
And as an action, he can move from any city containing a structure to any other city, including all sorts of riding, collapsing, and fallen cities by discarding any city card. So if he was like, he could basically like build a military base, quarantine anything connected to it, and then get the fuck out of there in 1 turn.
Yeah, I think that's let's do that.
That seems like a good move. And then I guess we're maybe committing ourselves to playing with him in the next round, or not really, but it seems like it might be useful.
When we do play with him, he becomes really strong.
Yeah, and we're pretty sure too that like who knows what's going to happen in May, but
I'm just now envisioning how useful it could be to like have like another military base in the faded areas and be able to like jump in and do a bunch of stuff
and jump out.
Yeah. Or like depending on what cities are infected, if we have a couple more military bases, one of them might be perfectly situated to like protect a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Easily.
Right. Yeah, like 1 in Delhi would be sweet because between Delhi and Baghdad, you can touch all of the currently everything except for Moscow, the original black cities.
Yeah.
And then like so basically the only faded cities you're missing are these 3 and Moscow. So
yeah, and also like if we start on Delhi, you could like quarantine the shit on your first turn and like
if we can manage to keep Delhi from falling.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm sharing the new card with that thing to you guys. Okay, so now should I draw this card? So we're done with like our end of game stuff.
Yeah, I mean I think we should like not start the game, but like go through the beginning part and then we can think about it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is draw your first.
So did we, just to be clear, I'm just going to update what I have on that printout. So the operations expert now has the local pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just shared his picture.
Oh, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I see that.
So the next thing is draw this card just before you set up your first game in May. And then I'll read it. We're going to open a bunch of boxes. Okay, so in May, mission briefing. The situation has intensified. The fated are spreading faster than we calculated. Countries are hesitant to turn troops on their loved ones. We need to control their spread or the world will go into darkness. Don't let the other diseases grow unchecked or we'll have an end world situation. Also, as our most knowledgeable team, we need you to complete 3 objectives this month. So
Well, I have a feeling we're going to get some new objectives.
we'll probably get at least 1 new objective. But there are 6 objective slots on the board, so
It sounds like we're no longer going to be required to cure all the diseases.
I think you're probably right. Well, I don't know, actually. It said don't let the other diseases grow unchecked, or we'll have an end world situation. So, okay, sorry, I got to start the process of opening all the things and finding them. P. The first box is P. Can you guys read these if I put them here? Or do we just want to do the thing where I open them all in order?
Yeah,
Read them if you turn it 90 degrees.
I would open them all and send the picture. That works really well, especially because we can refer back to it.
Okay. Well, obviously I'm going to send the picture. Last time you didn't want me to read them as they come out, so you can probably read it now. I'll catch up to you soon.
Well, didn't we also decide we're supposed to read them as they come out?
Because we're not like resolving it, right? Because there's new like statuses. And mine are next shitty, and I can't read them, so I'll just wait for the photo anyway. So I got it.
So we got a sticker over COD4A.
Okay.
I'm just going to read them, and then I'll send the
Yeah,
picture,
that's-
because
We're
otherwise
not, like last time, I was just having trouble. We have a lot more time now, so
Yeah. So basically it says when you're drawing a player card, if any city cards drawn match the color of CODA, place a faded figure in each of the matching cities. What?
That. Fuck that.
If this would place a 4th figure, so basically no outbreaks and no quarantine markers removed, but so like drawing player cards, black player cards now spreads faded figures.
Doug,
14 and no whatever else.
So if it already has 3, then it doesn't do anything.
Do you add a 4th?
No, like you don't outbreak, you don't place it, and you
That
don't.
lead to running out of faded figures really fast.
Yeah.
so it's a way for it to pop up quicker, but not using all the same mechanics. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
And then this is the second thing I drew is just the updated sticker for that has that rule on it.
Okay.
So that's simple. Okay, the next thing is where's that thing? Next thing is H. This is another rule sticker. So this is a new rule. Oh, okay, cool. Build roadblocks. If your current region has a military base, you may spend 1 action to place roadblocks on as many routes as you want out of your current city. Diseases and the fated cannot spread due to outbreaks along routes cut by a roadblock. Oh, wow.
But I'm assuming that means you also can't drive through the roadblock.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I'll keep opening things.
I was gonna say, so far I wouldn't assume that. That's awesome. And also a good reason to have military base.
Yep. Oh, we have top secret clearance 917 channel. Open package 4. And this says if a city is completely roadblocked off, do not mark an outbreak with the outbreak track when it outbreaks. Oh, so since nothing is affected, but you do increase the panic level, so it gets the increase 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but it doesn't count towards you losing the game.
And that's if every access point to the city is roadblocked.
Yes. And Parker, you're right. players may no longer drive or ferry along a route containing a roadblock unless they discard a card of the same color as the city they're entering. So not the exact card, but the same color.
And to build a roadblock, you have to be adjacent. You have to be in the city that you're roadblocking a route out of.
You could be like, if you wanted to isolate it, yes. But if you're in Istanbul, you could roadblock Moscow, Istanbul.
Yes. Okay.
Somehow, like, a bunch of grass got on my table. Like, where did that come from? Okay, next one is 40. Oh, now I open the box. Package 4.
I'm assuming that's roadblocks.
Probably roadblocks.
Oh god.
Sorry, somebody used that meme on the C-Run group chat I'm on. I thought it was so apropos. I started laughing.
So there are 18 roadblocks. So
Okay.
not a ton.
Are they stickers or like things?
No, they're thingies. Yeah, they look like that.
Exciting game.
Okay, 42. I feel like they did this so you couldn't just like open all the things and know what happened in the game, but it's so annoying to have to search through. And this is just the action of build roadblocks. Place roadblocks markers on any or all routes connected to your city with a military base. Only with a military base. Okay. 25.
So this is just like what they did in Israel in World War Z.
New relationships to use as game end upgrades. So
I got my drive slow side.
One is if you start your turn in the same city as a friend, you get to look at the player deck. Top 2 cards of the player deck. Another one is when a rival plays or discards. Oh, it's the same as that one.
Same as earlier, yeah.
Although the other one is new, I think. So, and then the last box is 26. Ooh, more relationships. There's another gain an extra action, and there's another share knowledge one.
Okay.
We still need to figure that out with the researcher. Right? We didn't actually answer that question of what the fuck that meant.
I felt pretty comfortable with what we kind of concluded last game, which is the researcher with that power to do what anybody else can, to send a card to anybody like long distance if one of the cards matches the city.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me.
The card, let me look at the picture again.
The tricky part.
So the coworker power, ignoring researcher status, allows you to pass a card as long as one person's in the city that's being passed, even though you're not both in the same city.
Right.
And then the parentheses is a reminder that the researcher can always just pass any card as if you were in this. So like it's like as if when you're in the same city, the researcher can baseline pass any card. Like if you're both in Atlanta,
right.
You only share Atlanta, but the researcher could share, Mumbai.
Right.
And remotely, if you're both like if one person's in Atlanta, one person's in Essen, and the researcher or the other person has Essen, the researcher could share Mumbai. That's my understanding.
Me too. I actually don't think that the researcher needs to even have the city. Any city. Because it specifically says that it's the same city as the one being passed. And then it just says the researcher can pass any card. Any card. So like the same way that
if triangle, it basically involves 3 cities at that point, where everybody else would go.
Well, I don't think it matters at all what cards are in the researcher's hand, like, and what city either of them are in. I think the researcher can always just pass a card to the coworker, whoever, if they have that ability, because that's the mirror of what happens with the like individual power. You know what I mean?
But then how? So
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's analogous
just-
to power.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. It's just confusing because the parentheses doesn't resolve the trigger of the event. It just is like the trigger of the coworker shared knowledge is that you have to be in the city that's being passed, and then the parentheses removes that trigger.
But in
I
this,
think what Dermot's bringing me around to is that it's analogous to the original researcher power, which is normally to share knowledge, not the researcher. Both parties, not the researcher, they have to be in the same city and have that city's card.
yeah,
The researcher removes you have to have that city's card. You can pass anything if you're in the same place. So now the card,
I'm on board now. So like I'm on board that the researcher can basically always pass the scientist colored cards
any card.
yes, okay,
as an action.
well,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's weird though. Like I'm not sure. Like maybe someone on the internet has clarified this. Like it does seem, because of the way that first part of the rule is stated, it is unclear because it specifically says that when you share knowledge, you can do it, but only passing the card of the city that you're in. But then that like parenthetical thing is really
The
weird.
parenthetical would be useless if it wasn't what we just said.
Right.
Right. Like there's no reason to add the parentheses to qualify if it didn't mean that the researcher could just always pass a coworker a card.
Yeah.
For what city it is.
We also just got a new character.
Is it Colonel?
It's a colonel. Share the picture right now. But basically, as an action, you get to remove a faded figure from your city if there's a military base in your region. Oh fuck.
These military bases are suddenly getting real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need to build one in Europe. Could you send an updated picture of the disease squares?
Sure. Certainly. It's a little tricky because these two here, they are not applied. These are the ones we applied by
Cover 'em
mistake.
with a character card.
Huh?
I know that, but like cover them up with the objective card. Yeah.
And there's also a new objective. So I'll post a picture of all of our objectives together. We have four potential objectives, of which we need to complete 3.
So the kernel also is harder to cure diseases.
I haven't read it all the way through yet.
Yeah, so you may, as an action, you can remove the fade figure. You
Hmm.
may drive, ferry across roadblocks without spending a card, which is useful.
Yeah,
But you also need 2 additional cards of the disease color to discover a cure.
right. Yeah, that's kind of a pain in the butt, huh? So he's not a cure.
So is that you must cure all the diseases still an objective?
It is still an objective, and we still have to complete it.
Do we also have to complete quarantine 7 faded cities?
We have to complete 3 of the ones.
Send the picture. I'll stop asking
I just sent the picture. I was taking it, so.
when I can read instead of asking you.
Oh, I just missed that building roadblocks is not something we all default to do anymore. Right now, we have to upgrade characters.
Not true.
What was black stickers about them?
Black stickers?
Was black stickers? that
Oh.
say gold box?
They get added to like this thing.
For the action.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's no like your character must have a military thing.
It would be helpful too, Dermot, to send another updated action picture.
Just with that picture, like literally
I'm
that.
okay without that. There's relatively few of them. I don't remember.
It's just roadblocks and the shuttle flights, but I can send that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can keep.
I think roadblocks will be key enough that we will not have trouble remembering. Okay,
So
and
the
so you
7
know-
invaded cities has to like be present while you've completed 2 others, basically.
At the end of your first game in May, select your game end upgrades, open the following door, and then draw this card.
At the end of the game.
Your first game in May, win or lose.
Okay, so not yet.
Well, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah,
It's too bad we don't have any. Well, we'll get funded events if you lose. So there's that.
we'll get funded events and scars. Well, maybe not, but probably. Okay, I gotta add the stickers. And then Parker, could you just pop all these little roadblock things out of the roadblock thing? That'd be helpful.
Yeah, come on.
Great, thanks.
Josen's actually going to do it.
Just looking at these objectives again, I feel like the building military bases is now back on the menu because I feel like quarantine 7 invaded cities is going to fucking end.
Well,
Do you think so? I feel like we ended the game with at least 7 quarantines.
You're always worried that you're going to like draw one right in the
Oh, right. That new thing makes it harder. You're right.
although I do think
But that doesn't affect quarantine status, though. Right?
if they're at full outbreak, only if they already have 3. Yeah, only if they already have 3, which is a little crazy.
Yeah, but it says no quarantine markers removed.
Only if they already have 3. You're already in the conditional thing about if it already has 3, right?
Yes.
So like, yeah, as soon as it gets 3, then it's immune to the little player rule. But the really rough thing is like we've been keeping track. So like last game, we knew Karachi was not going to come up, so that was like a safe place to put someone. And now any of the cities could come up because they could come out of the player deck. Right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I want to read the Faded City rules about quarantine. Yeah, so if you were adding one of those accelerated ones to a city, you would take the quarantine marker off instead of adding it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same.
So the other thing that's nice about the roadblocks is most of them are in black cities, and we don't really have a use for black cards. So discarding a black card is not necessarily terrible.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Wait, do you also discard it? Did I miss that?
I don't think you have this card.
Yeah, why does that matter?
Don't you have to, if you cross a roadblock, you have to discard a card of the same color?
Oh, for roadblocks. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you mean not to build it, but to traverse it. Got it.
To traverse it, yeah. So my question is, if you're entering a fallen city that is roadblocked, do you have to discard like 3 cards?
How does it work for normally entering fallen cities?
So if it's let me be clear by reading the actual rules. So if it's a collapsing city, you have to discard 1 card to enter of the city's color.
Yeah,
If it's fallen, you have to discard a
2.
total of 2 cards. But I think Okay,
Yeah.
so
I think
you
it's
no longer
3.
do the drive ferry without discarding a color, and then after you do the drive ferry, you have to discard the other ones. So yeah, you have to do 3.
I think you'd have to do 3 just to get through it, just to do it.
That's not kind of bad.
Well, the nice thing is that if a city is roadblocked and fallen, it won't spread. You just can't drive through it without spending 3 cards.
Oh, remember also you can build roadblocks on any city in a region with a military base, not specifically from the military base.
Yeah.
So maybe
you have
that
to
was
be connected to the city, right?
the military base does not have to be connected. They have to be connected to your city, but like until we lose that military base somehow, we can always build roadblocks in black on any city. Well,
No,
not in
except
black,
for
on that
the ones in
region.
Europe.
Oh my god, we got so lucky that we didn't just build 2 military bases in that region.
Yeah,
Because like I was just thinking about red, I wasn't thinking about regions.
Yeah.
But we really should have been, because that was like that's the objective. Oh,
yeah. I mean,
also we get 2 that was such an obvious thing that I never picked up on, is that like this objective, have a military base in each of the regions, is like if we had 6 down, which would be actually possible at this point because of how many game end upgrades we've used, like we would immediately clear that objective.
yeah. I mean, I think we definitely want to build more next game and probably make at least one of them permanent.
I think we probably shoot for that objective, yeah. Because like we've gotten really lucky, honestly, that we've been able to eradicate blue. Even though it's easy to cure blue, like we've been able to cure it on the first turn both games. And that's not at all a given.
Yeah, but it's so nice to do that if we can, because it relieves the pressure so much.
Right, and we can decide who we're playing and what objectives we're going for before that. So
yeah, based on the hands and who's infected.
Yeah, and what cities? Yeah, exactly.
So is South America its own? Yeah, own region. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Yeah, South America is looking rough. Sao Paulo would be a good place for a military base, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. And remember, we get this win bonus for every game where we get to remove a faded figure from the board, which is pretty sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go pee real quick, but I'll be right back.
You're back. Hello.
The problem with doom scrolling right now is that new stuff actually happens.
Okay. What do you guys want to do?
I could go a few different ways. I kind of had a productive evening planned, but nothing that I can't hold. So I could like cook dinner and we could actually play if we wanted to. But I don't have to do that. I'm happy leaving it here. I think we might have lost Mark though.
Yeah, it looked like Mark was in the middle of dinner cooking, so I think he's probably going to be doing that, I would guess.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of I'm working Monday, which kind of sucks, but the skiing's bad and I'm getting vaccinated, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I'm not working Thursday or Friday, so we could play one of those days.
Oh, yeah.
Or just the weekend. But I was just saying to no one since Mark's not here. The problem with doom scrolling right now is that like so much news is actually happening that it's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Like one of the officers involved has committed suicide, which sucks.
Wait, what do you mean? Like he was in the riot? Or
No,
something?
like one of the Capitol police officers who responded to the riot has committed suicide.
Whoa.
Yeah. So whether or not that's because he did something that he felt ashamed of, or just like
Right.
because he like let the protesters in and buddy with them, and then, or just because the experience was so traumatic that he couldn't handle it. I mean, both are terrible, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the new videos that have been coming out are far cry from the like, because all the videos that we got day of were like from when they had already like taken over.
Right.
So it was like people like the videos of like the guy with the horns like walking around.
Yeah.
So now that the like videos of the actual assault are coming out, it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. So there's like almost no way for the colonel to cure disease.
Yeah,
He
but
needs
he could become a coworker with someone.
He needs 7 cards.
I'm not sure. We can't do it this game, but we could give him one of the new coworker relationships.
Oh yeah, maybe he'd be good with one of the rivals discard one.
Yeah. Or the coworker one. But if he's focused on fallen cities, that might not be as useful.
Also, he'd only be able, if he's basically stuck in black, he'd only be able to pass the black ones. Well, I guess he could pass the ones to the scientist, although the scientist is already full.
Yeah, for relationships, it would have to be someone else. I'm still wondering if you can, like, does it say anywhere, can you override one? Or can you just not add anymore?
I don't know. You definitely can't with the scars, obviously.
Well, it's moot with the scars, because as soon as you get two, you care. Or if there's no spot, you die.
Right.
Let's see what it says. Something about.
Presumably the upgrades are a no-go if they're full.
I don't think you could, like, overwrite one.
Oh, it says players may stick an upgrade over an existing upgrade. So yeah, you can totally do it. Oh, we also just cheated. Shit. We can only upgrade characters that we just played with. Okay, well, we should decide that, and then we can be done. Huh? So we have to give back the thing that we did, the operations expert.
Cool. Do we have to? I was just wondering, is the rest of the order correct? Like, were we definitely supposed to do our upgrades before we opened all those things?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back now. Well, it's gonna be really hard to like choose a new upgrade without now cheating based on the.
Oh, you're right. So we technically weren't allowed to add that local pressure thing to the operations expert because we didn't play with that card.
I hate all the fussy rules in the intergame space of this game sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Well, we just.
I mean, that's definitely why it's helpful to do this
During your batting hell.
when we're not stressed.
It's also good. Like, it's better if.
I don't think we can change it, Dermot, because now anything we now do is going to be reflected on the new mission scenario.
I mean, I guess that's true, but I still feel like we made the best possible choice we could have by putting it on him, even though we didn't know what we were doing. You know?
No, I know. I'm now saying like any replacement action we do is now going to be tarnished.
True. I feel like we should save local pressure for him. We should either just put it on him and move ahead because that's fine.
Well, I mean, I just would like to point out, we haven't discussed this yet, there is a section of the rule book that says what happens if we mess up a rule since we can't go back. Just note it and move on. In some cases, it'll make the game too easy or too hard. In this case, you can increase or decrease the funding level.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Is like we could just keep going. And just,
Yeah, that's what I'm now saying. Like at this point, if we were to take it off and do a new one, whatever we chose would be now tarnished by the fact that we know what the mission is now.
right. I guess I was just saying that, like, even knowing what the mission is, I would definitely do what we did. So, like, and it's not allowed. But
So you're saying it's too beneficial.
yeah, because we were like, oh no, that's clearly the thing to do, even though he wasn't in our game, which is fine. I mean, I'm fine just doing it. Should we just do it?
I'm fine just doing it. Yeah. Did we not do it yet?
I took it off. I took it off.
Oh.
Then I put it back on. The good thing about it is that the rule book is actually really good. Like it goes step by step through what you do, and then like really whenever we do any of these things, and we're like we're gonna do a character upgrade, we should just go back and read all those things because it has all these little rules that like the positive mutations. If you eradicated a disease, I mean,
It's definitely helpful for us to have copies of the rule book now.
yeah. Yes.
If I have time at work, I'll go through and add all the new stickers for that. We'll print out the stickers and then
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many pages with new things, but I could send a.
No, you don't need to because you've sent us all the stickers and then we know where they go.
Okay.
Unless you have a scanner, you can just scan it. But,
Not really.
cool. So I think we're pretty much done for now, unless we wanted to like start the infection part quick.
Yeah, I mean, we could move however far we wanted through the setup, but I could also be done.
And also, Dermot, you could just do that at some point if you had time, and then you could.
It doesn't take too long to watch him do it, and I feel like that there's some useful conversation that goes with that.
Yeah. So I'm cool with stopping. I kind of want to start my dinner. So I'll just talk about dinner. Make me hungry.
Yeah, let's just call it now then.
Okay, cool.
In terms of, do you guys want to try to play this week?
Well, yeah, I was telling Dermot while you were gone. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then I'm off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I could definitely play. I mean, I could definitely play one of the other nights if we plan ahead and we, put a hard, like if we do like 7 to 9.
We could do Thursday.
We could also just do Thursday. So
Does that work for you, Mark? Or were you thinking sooner?
Great.
yeah, I'm down with just playing on Thursday.
All right, let's find time Thursday then.
Yeah. Depending on if it snows or not, we could do an afternoon again. Oh, wait, Dermot's working.
Yeah.
Let's know.
I have to go to work.
I know. I just said Dermot. Yeah.
Thursday after work.
Thursday after work. Yeah, that sounds good. I have like a happy hour at the end of the day, so that means that I probably shouldn't do any work after that. So it'll be a good day for me to do it.
Work, and you'll be nice and lubricated.
Exactly.
Cool.
Oh wait,
Sounds good.
when we sorry, final thing. When we pick up relationships, do we apply them immediately? Or are they game end upgrades?
I thought they were game and upgrades, but they're not.
Oh. You apply them when you create a character. So we have to decide a relationship for the kernel.
Okay, because we created in this round.
Yeah.
How does that? So we do one for him now. Does
That's
that work?
yeah.
Or do we like fully create him?
It basically says, oh, well, maybe you just do it when you first use it.
Yeah, because it says at the end of it, it says end game is character upgrade. I'm not going to do a character who you just played with.
That's an upgrade, not a relationship.
Oh, sorry, relationship. Oh, okay.
Where does it talk about the relationships?
On like the characters page, the very first page, or the second page. It says when creating a character, to create a character, select a character card. Each one has different special abilities, and give your character a name. So I guess we can just say we haven't created the kernel, or
Where does it say add a relationship when you're creating a character?
in the rule sticker that's right under characters that you might not have.
Rule sticker A.
Yeah.
It's a little sticker A.
What is the? Can you just read that real quick?
When creating a character, give them a relationship with an already created character. Both characters get the same relationship. Fill in the name of the other characters in the relationship. Each character can have 2 relationships.
So we
The kernel's relationship before we call it a night.
yeah. So
Yeah,
are there any other relationships besides the new ones we just got?
With coworkers, family members, friends, and rivals.
Is that all? Like we just got more of them. Is that all the ones that we have options during it?
I think so. Let me look around a little bit. I'm pretty sure that is the case, though.
Yeah, me too.
But when the other thing we should do is we should try and make sure that we actually all of our named characters, which means we've played with them, that we have applied the correct amount of relationships, because we might be short, or we might have actually gone too far earlier, but that's okay.
Well, that'd be easy if we just take the initial ones and then.
I think we went too far in assigning just those two relationships.
But wasn't there like a thing that was like apply relationships or something?
Yeah, there might have been a game where we got to like do an extra one because it's.
I think when we got the rule book A, I think there was like a thing that was like apply some of these relationships.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, don't worry about that.
So the friends with becomes useful as like a forecasting tool,
but it's
because of
forecasting tool.
Well, because now there's infections from the player deck, so
That's true.
We've also got extras around because like we've never played with the generalist.
They're just so useful.
What's that?
I feel like we've used rival and family member a lot, so those tend to be the two on my gut is toward.
I mean, that coworkers with one, the share knowledge one, is amazing, but I don't think it's that good for the kernel.
Yeah, I feel like I could see him being like rivals of the quarantine specialist potentially. I could feel like the two of them could be moving around together a lot. But
yeah, I could see the colonel and the quarantine specialist being friends.
yeah, friends, rivals, or family member even.
Or no, maybe the one where you get if you're in the same city. Is that family member?
So here's something that I'm realizing though is we get to apply one more relationship to either. We get to apply another relationship to the quarantine specialist because we picked her up early and we obviously didn't apply anything when we first played her because she only has one that goes with the operations expert.
Right.
And then when we got the operations expert and played him for the first time, we're like, let's use this relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we basically started the game with like the medic, the generalist we still haven't used, so she doesn't have any relationships. That's okay. Like we basically started the game with these guys, right? And we got to apply 4 because of that. And so we got that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's only 6. Maybe we only.
So the downside of going back is that we can't then make the quarantines. Well, I guess we can override family members. Oh, my brain is hurting.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
This with the whole stop-start thing we did really hosed us in the end. I'm trying to find the card.
I guess we can always. Well,
I think we should apply one additional relationship to the quarantine specialist. And if we want to make it with the colonel, then we just make that our 1. And if we want to do 2, then we do 2. What do you think? Does that sound reasonable?
I
I can't come up with it.
So wait, she is currently friends with Tony.
Yes. No, she's friends with Trent.
Who is?
And Tony, you're right.
Tony.
I feel like the quarantine specialist and the colonel being family members could be very useful. They're both like deep in the thick of faded city.
Sorry, I just Googled relationships when to apply pandemic. And of course, the first thing that comes up is Johns Hopkins, how to keep your relationship healthy during the coronavirus pandemic.
Actually, I won't even make that joke. But, yeah, I guess I'm with Parker.
Do you think we want to make the colonel do something with the quarantine specialist?
Or maybe the operations expert and the colonel could be like also useful together. Like, who do we think we're playing with next game?
I guess
Right.
I'm not worried about a specific game. I just feel like, yeah, like
It just seems like a couple of like having some of the military people be family members would give us sort of the same benefits we got.
Right.
The medic and whoever he's, so like that was useful.
And the scientist, yeah.
And the scientists, because they're similar, they're doing similar stuff, and getting those extra turns would be
so we could do quarantine specialist and operations expert being family members. And we could do the colonel
Quarantine.
block off both of their second spots.
I think we just do quarantine and colonel.
With what? With the family members?
With the family member.
So
Actually, no, looking at it again, I would do colonel and operations expert as family member because the colonel's power is contingent on there being a military base in the region. The operations expert will tend to be around military bases.
Right. So but I feel like the purpose of the colonel is to mitigate fallen outbreaks, whereas the purpose of the operations expert is to move around easy. So I feel like the colonel and the quarantine specialists are going to be like in the thick of things together. Okay. Right? Whereas the operations expert, because of his powers, can get into military areas and out of more easily, but isn't necessarily doing things that require him to be in the thick of things. Like, one could imagine a scenario where the colonel and the quarantine specialists are trying to like simultaneously quarantine and but who did we give that upgrade to? The operations expert?
yeah.
So maybe we do want to make the colonel, because it can quarantine shit easier. Right?
Wait. Make him what?
So he has local pressure now. So he is possible to be in the thick of things.
Yeah, we will probably be putting him in the thick of things.
Yeah.
And the colonel will probably be jumping around those areas too. And the colonel will be really useful for keeping faded figures off of our military base. So we'll probably be using him to do that so that people can like use that as a home base. Because he can remove faded figures. He's the only one that can remove faded figures. So I feel like we're going to 100% use him.
Yes.
Like, and that's all he's going to do. Which, another idea, it might be good for him to have coworkers with, so he could pass those cards that he'll like never get to use because he needs like 1 million cards.
Why does he need 1 million cards?
Because he needs 2 extra cards to discover a cure. The colonel.
Oh yeah.
So like we'll never be trying to cure something with him. So if he was coworkers with like the operations expert, especially because he can like go anywhere in the world from any structure city could do some pretty easy share knowledge with the kernel.
Okay.
Because the operations expert could like go, fly from the military base directly to Lima, which would be like the card that we know he can pass back.
Yeah.
And then the operations expert, without discarding cards, gets to like build a military base and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think I like that idea because the operations expert can discard any card to make that move.
Right.
So he can like sacrifice a yellow to get red.
I think we're doing that, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I like that.
Because
And I almost wonder if we won't be playing the quarantine specialist next game, but we'll see.
yeah, I was wondering that too. Because we
We
still
also might want 3 military people and someone else. So
I think we're definitely gonna play the operations expert and the kernel.
yeah, I just feel like the operations expert now his kind of that spreading the local pressure might be almost more useful than the quarantine specialists,
well.
or equivalently useful.
So one thing we could do if we think it's reasonable, I was trying to find the rules of like when the relationships first popped up, but I can't find them. I feel like we could fairly
Can the Colonel's name be Colonel McColneyface?
Colonel McColneyface. We got to name him, so
All I've got is mustard, so that's great.
You know, like Bodie McBoatface?
like Bodie McMoatface. He looks kind of. This is what he looks like. He's pretty like.
Colonel McColneyface.
He looks like he's got kind of a colonel face. Oh no.
I mean, we could call him Colonel Carlin Sanders for Colonel Sanders.
I'm already writing it down.
Okay.
What did you call him?
Colonel McColneyface.
Cool.
Although my freaking pen is dying again. It's like some of these cards are coded with something.
I mean, they're coded with like, I think ballpoint doesn't work well.
Well, I've been writing fine for the last bunch of games. Damn. Okay, I'm relatively sure that we've figured out all the rules that we've forgotten to apply now, and we can start the next game when we're ready. The only thing I was going to say is I feel like we didn't actually apply a relationship when we started using the quarantine specialist.
Yeah, I agree. We could. But what's the rule on? So can we override one? Because if we override one, then it's going to mess up the other character too.
Yeah, presumably if you did that, you would just remove the one from the other character. It's easy to pull them off.
Then we should probably make her a relationship with the researcher.
Because
or the
that
dispatcher. Because we can't logically put a relationship between her and the colonel because we just need the colonels.
no, we don't get to.
Colonel.
We don't get to do that. It has to be basically any of these people that already existed.
Right. So like we have either the researcher or the dispatcher to do, or the generalist.
But if we did the generalist, we'd have to choose two because that's be the first time we use her. Like whenever we use the generalist, we'll have to decide a relationship for her.
I'm pretty sure we could. Well, anyways, okay. I would say, let's see. The quarantine specialist needs to get around. The dispatcher doesn't necessarily need to be in the same city as the quarantine specialist, but the dispatcher could like. Or I guess we don't. What friends do we have? What relationships are left over from the first card set? Because that's all we can do.
There is no other card set. We've used them all, which actually makes me think that maybe we applied one too many originally. and in which case we should just via con Dios and move along. Yeah, let's just do that. Because when we played our first game in actual pandemic times, I think we applied this Rivals one because we had like an extra relationship. We had 2 extra relationships sitting around. We're like, oh, we must not have used these, and we decided we'd apply it to these 2.
So we're good then.
And those 2. So I think technically we probably couldn't have applied that one, but what's done is done.
Okay, well,
And that
we'll
one was
just call it
reasonable.
good then.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, so just to clarify before I call it for a night, the operations expert and the colonel are coworkers.
Yes.
All right.
And I will share that now.
Sweet. Okay, well then Thursday.
Yes, Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, cool. Woo! Man, are we gonna keep getting more characters? It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I think probably as the missions change, but people also will start buying.
It's true.
Anywho, we also haven't lost a character yet, so. Cool. Well, I will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.